How are you the New York Giants organization? And I don't care that you can find running backs in the draft. You went out 6.5 years ago and you drafted Saquon Barkley at number 2 because you believe he was a game changer. You believe he was a franchise player. You believed that Saquon was the piece that was going to take the New York Giants organization to the promised land. Saquon Barkley, look at the position that he has been in the last year and a half by this organization, as he has been one of the elite running backs in the last 2 years. And yes, he's injury prone. Half of the running backs are, but when he is on the field, there are not many running backs that are as dominant as he is. He puts up numbers galore for this team and this organization. He helps out the wide receivers because they suck. They can't catch the ball. Bringing in Hyatt and Darren Waller, who can't stay healthy, didn't make any sense in the offseason. As you're giving Darren Waller the same amount of money as Saquon Barkley, and this guy played how many games this year as a starter? And Saquon Barkley has been more efficient than Darren Waller ever has been for this New York Giant team. This organization has been a joke. The Maras, the Tishes, they were so respected around the league. They're one of the best ownerships in all of football. You speak about Pittsburgh and the Rooneys. These organizations have fallen apart. The Pittsburgh Steelers. When was the last time they won a Super Bowl? Yes, Mike Tomlin is a successful head coach. Never had a losing season. How many Super Bowls has Tomlin won? 1 Super Bowl in 14 years. And I know Super Bowls aren't easy to win. Nobody is Bill Belichick. Nobody is Tom Brady. It doesn't happen overnight, and building dynasties don't usually happen in the NFL. But when you look at the New York Giants and Eli Manning retires, and you bring in Daniel Jones, and you draft him so early, and you look at what they've given Daniel Jones of weapons, and Saquon Barkley at some points was missing a significant amount of time because of big injuries. How do you expect to win when you are not paying your best offensive option? No. You know what you're going to do? You're going to bring in a washed-up tight end from the Raiders, who you're paying almost $13 million to play 7 games. Does that make any sense to you, Joe? Does that make any sense to you, Gable? What is the reasoning behind the Saquon Barkley story? And yes, I understand, you could find a running back in the 5th round. Are we going to believe that the Giants are going to go into a season next year with no offensive weapons? Are we going to believe that the Giants are going to go into the season without Saquon Barkley? Go look at the New York Giants record without Saquon Barkley.
You also look at all those teams that have these later round drafted running backs. All those teams, what they have in common is they also have other good skill players. They could take that kind of chance. Or they have an offensive coach that's going to make that kind of thing work, like the Chiefs have with Andy Reid. Drafting Isaiah Pacheco in the 7th round and making that work. The Giants don't have that whatsoever. Darren Waller, the trade for him, if Darren Waller stayed healthy, looked like a good value, only trading him for the compensation pick they got for Tony. But he hasn't stayed healthy. He played fine in the games when he's healthy, but you still can't trust that kind of thing when you don't have another game-changing player on the field. Jalen Hyatt is a good stretch-the-field deep threat, but not much else developed in the NFL. He's not a great route runner. He's had drop problems. Wan'Dale Robinson is mainly a gadget player, and you drafted him in the 2nd round. They have to be able to get either in quantity good players to compensate for that, or in quality, which the biggest quality they have has been Saquon Barkley. So now the Giants are stuck where they don't want him to be franchised because he's obviously going to get disgruntled again. He's already going to be losing trade value because he got hurt again this year. He missed only 4 games, luckily, but still, that doesn't help for his cause. 26 years old. He's not super old, but 6 years in the league and already has had 2 major injuries. So the Giants getting too cute with him again, it looks like it's going to cost them. And now you're going to have to play another game with him where either you're going to have to pay him more than he's probably going to get on the open market to keep him happy, or you're going to have to trade him and get nothing back.
I'm so tired of listening to Giant fans say, Daniel Jones stinks, and that's why the Giants are not good offensively. That is so ridiculous. It's absurd. There were people saying Daniel Jones had just as good in numbers as Aaron Rodgers. Now all of a sudden, he couldn't stay healthy, tears his ACL, season's over for him, and maybe his Giants' career's over for him because the Giants think he's garbage.
Any quarterback is going to have a lot of issues with the circumstances that the Giants have presented with themselves. They have a very bad offensive line. They arguably have the worst receiving core in the NFL. Not many quarterbacks are going to succeed with that, saying, Belichick wins Super Bowls with 6th-round guys, because Belichick had Gronk, who was the most feared guy on the field. Who is that guy for the Giants besides Saquon Barkley? Gronk presented so many safeties to play deep, so many linebackers to have to double team
so
him.
many mismatches.
Right. So LeGarrette Blount could strive. So James White could strive. They could get away with that kind of thing. The Giants don't have that guy. The Giants were facing a lot of 7-man boxes because Saquon Barkley was the most feared guy. Same problem the Titans have had with Derrick Henry recently, too. Derrick Henry's had some dominant performances, but it has not been as consistent because they don't have a wide receiver or a tight end that presents another threat to that team. So once the offensive line for Tennessee got diminished, where it was one of the best in the league and now it's one of the worst, all of a sudden the Titans' offense is lackluster as well, just like the Giants.